Yo, what's going on, guys? And we're hearing an interesting report from SportsNet that Coby White is somebody that the Orlando Magic have interest in. And I think it's one that, if you're paying attention to this season, you definitely would find intriguing because obviously the Orlando Magic this year have dealt with so many injuries. It's like not even funny how many injuries they've dealt with this year. But this is a team that's still, even though they've dealt with all those injuries, they are the eighth seed in the NBA. Eastern Conference. They're 25 and 27, which compared to how hot they started the year, they have slowed down. They are the worst scoring offense in the league, but they are the second best scoring defense in the league. Their offensive rating is the second worst in the NBA, but their defensive rating is the third best. And they have a net rating that is the 12th worst. But this is a team that their team stats don't really tell the full picture as uh, as I've said, they've dealt with a litany of injuries, and as a result, I think a guy like Coby White would really help their offense. In my assumption, when you look at that deal, Coby White's a guy who's making currently 12 million this year and 12.8 next year. I could only assume that there's three players that could be involved in this. The easiest deal would obviously be like a Cole Anthony swap. The other would be Mo Wagner, but Wagner's out for the season and his brother is Franz, so I don't think he would do that. I think the dark horse could probably be a package of Gary Harris with someone like a Caleb Houston, which brings you to 9.6. Caleb makes 12, so you basically eat 2.4, and because the Magic have that cap space, they can do that. So I wouldn't be surprised if it isn't Cole Anthony, it's a package of Gary Harris and Caleb Houston, as Jalen Suggs hasn't played, much this season. We know that Mo Wagner's out, and to me, I think looking at how a guy like the Magic are looking at a Cole Anthony's replacement as Coby White, or if they want Cole Anthony to have a sidekick in Coby White, because Jalen Suggs has played 35 games, Franz has played 32. They're the most games he could have played so far, because this is a team that has played 52 games, is Contavious Caldwell-Pope at 49. And I think that's really telling, where, Suggs has missed 14 games. Obviously, Banchero has missed, I think, what was it, like 24 games to start their 34 games to miss the year. Franz has missed like 20 games. So I think getting a guy like Coby White would really help the offense. And like Contavious Caldwell-Pope can shoot and stuff, but like he doesn't really have much guys to create out there. And that's another thing that, if you weren't paying attention, this is a team that is the third worst in assists, fourth worst in rebounds, but defensively they're great, and they put up the 17th most three-point attempts, but they're the worst in three-point makes and three-point percentage. So I think just getting another shot creator, another guy who can come in and really create for you while you wait for the team to get fully healthy, would be huge. Because I think Coby White, obviously, Jalen Suggs is a starter. Anthony Black has been the backup, and Cole Anthony has been kind of like the microwave. And Corey Joseph's been solid for them when needed. However, Coby White, I think, could really come in, and Cole Anthony and Kobe and Anthony Black could really just be the point guard, shooting guard rotation behind that, behind Jalen Suggs and Contavious Caldwell-Pope, just to give you some more offensive shot creation, as I think that would really help this team. Because, no offense to Jonathan Isaac, Tristan Da Silva, Wendell Carter, Gary Harris, or Jet Howard, Contavious Caldwell-Pope, but they're not creating their own shots. So whenever Franz, Paulo, Jalen Suggs miss time or aren't playing, you're losing the shot creation that those guys create, the wiggle, the finesse, and especially with injuries and stuff, I think this is just part of the growing pains of a young team. And I think getting Coby White, first off, dangerous three-point shooter, a guy who's going to be lights out. He has another year on his deal. He's an all-around scorer. He's got a good first step. As I said, just lights out shooter. And the thing is he's a facilitator, but he doesn't need the ball in his hand. He's one of those guys who can play on or off ball. Yeah, he's liable to a bad game, and he's not like an elite defender, but I think he can either be a spot starter or a really productive six man. And obviously his streakiness and his defense can sometimes lead to him being a bit questionable, but for a guy that this year is averaging 18.5 points on 44% almost from the field and 37% from three. Last year he did 37%. Basically, the last 3 years he's been shooting 44% from the field, regardless of his point totals. The last 2 years he's been averaging 19, 4, and 5 in a steal a game. And for his career, he's a 44%. So to me, when I look at it like that, I would really just think deals regarding Coby White is because this is a team that trying to get those 3-point shots up, bud. I think that's the hardest thing to understand when looking at a guy like a Coby White. Why would a team be interested in him like the Orlando Magic? And that's because you want that shooting and the shot creation. I think this is one of those that even if you don't watch basketball, it's pretty apparent. And you can give the Bulls more than likely cap flexibility, which I wouldn't be surprised if that's something that they would be cool with. To me, I think the hardest part when you look at a deal like that is understanding that the way it all could go down depends on how important or how desperate the Magic are, or how willing the Bulls are, because we all know the Bulls have been very hesitant, reluctant to trade guys, almost to the point of annoyance. So to me, that's obviously one of the points of conflict if you're like a Bulls fan, and I completely understand it. And that's obviously the NBA. You got to learn to deal with it. But when you think of it, I really do think the Magic have themselves an opportunity to put themselves in a position to get somebody that they potentially like or fit what they intend to do with their roster. And yeah, that's where I just sit here and I think it's always just so intriguing to see what some people think is necessary to win a championship or whatever, you know? And to me, that's where, like, when I watch stuff like that, I think it's rather cool to see a young team like the Magic be able to, like, navigate the cap, just try to figure out what they believe is the next steps in their franchise. Because I think they've done a really good job of not rushing themselves and just going with the pace they believe is necessary for their young team to succeed. And I really like that. I think a lot of people want to rush things because, you know, being patient takes a lot of work. It's not easy. And I think Orlando is doing a good job of just scouring the market because they have good players, and why trade good players if this year isn't it? Like, you don't need to force it. And I think that's what they know. But let's play the market and see what can come out. And it would almost be fiscally irresponsible not to, right? So let me hear your thoughts down below in the comment section. What would you guys do and why? I think, as I said, it could be a good fit.